Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 9th and 10th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish. They're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, far and wide. Those of you watching somewhere out in the universe, this is broadcasting unfettered to all points, Mars and beyond. This is Wednesday. It is Wednesday, so that means Silverline's Wednesday Wham. I'm your host, Scott Wakefield. I'm happy to be here, and we have a guest, and we have another guest maybe joining us to talk. But before we get to that, we've got very important things to talk about. First up, Vic asks, Rory, how'd it go?
It went fine. Just not
fine.
You
didn't sound very convincing.
If I walked out of there feeling like, man, I did a great job, then I know I failed. Because there's nothing like, I nailed that test.
Yeah.
And then just
that's what.
crashed.
Okay.
Actually, I think I got a 90% on it. So
Okay. Well, 90's not failing.
We'll
that's
take
it's
good.
not failing.
Usually not. Okay, that's good. And yes, Vic as usual. And Vic is our he keeps I guess a running tally. He keeps the minutes for all of our shows because he logs. He knows what's going on better than we do.
Inside jokes.
I'm joined tonight by Barb, the usuals, Rob, and Rory, and we have Matt here tonight as well. Again, Matt, good. Hello. Before we get to you, I'm going to keep just almost. I want to tell everybody out there, thank you for supporting the last Kickstarter campaign. It went really well. It had its great start, its slow middle, and then its great end. That rush,
explosive ending.
Past the finish line. It went really well. So thank you, everybody. So Steam Patriots number 2 will be in the mail within the next month or so, as well as Beyond the Stars. Number 2, what's that, Rory?
Within minutes. They'll be mailed out within minutes.
Within, yes. Yeah. Everyone run outside, check your mailbox. It might be there. I would like you to do that every day until your comic books show up.
Don't do it.
The way it works.
Just wait. It'll be there.
Patience, couple weeks. And Chad is joining us. Hi, Chad. I'm still giving my lengthy intro. I like the sound of my voice, so everyone sits here and politely waits while I talk. I was thanking everyone for their support for our Kickstarter campaign, and everyone out there, make sure if you did back this campaign to check your inbox, check your spam folder, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Because Kickstarter emails come out and sometimes get bumped over. If you do not respond, they're called surveys. If you don't give, it's going to be Roland. The answers, he will show up at your door and get your answers. To get your address, and if you don't put your name, if you don't give him the name you want put in the book, he will put Seymour Butts or Anita Bath, Amanda Hug and Kiss, and those will all be in there. With your picture.
Autograph.
So make sure you respond to those. A lot of people, if this is the first time you use Kickstarter, you don't know that you have to go back and respond to make sure he's got your mailing address if you ordered physical copies. So I repeat,
well, and
I will.
Yeah, they got to have that mailing address. How are you going to get your comics?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know? They can just write your name and send it out there. Beyond the Stars, and I'm sure Ron is fine with me saying thank you from Ron Fortier and his team, and from Rory and I.
Absolutely, I have been kind of his connection.
Yeah,
he
Rob's
this sort of thing often.
But the tech savvy connection that Ron relies on. Ron's pretty good with the socials. He's out there. He's good at promoting.
Oh yeah, he does.
From
this kind of stuff, he's not as good at. No.
From the Steam Patriots team, thank you very much. We of course put our heart and souls into these. And speaking of putting heart and soul into what they're creating, like 2 months ago, I got in contact with Chad, and I've been really, really looking forward to tonight to get to know Chad a little in the short hour we have. And since I came across him, I've been following what he has going on, and tangentially, Matt with their social posts and so forth. Very prolific creators and a really awesome project right now. Matt, author of multiple novels, graphic novels, written prose novels.
That'd be Chad. Chad is the author.
I'm sorry, Chad.
It sounds good for you though too. That's
Chad, yes, writer of novels, creator of podcasts, and he's got a great site with writers' resources and so forth. Lots of great material on, I think, just about all the socials that I've noticed. Matt, illustrator and so forth for their upcoming, soon-to-be released project Sons of Ashgard, the first in this series, Ill Met in Elmgard, correct?
I love it. I love it.
And there we go. Is it?
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Oh, that's
so
beautiful, beautiful. So,
hold on fire, Chad.
I'm going to shut up. If you can believe it.
Oh, you're actually there. Yeah.
Oh, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. I'm going to allow Chad and or Matt to take it away. Tell us about yourselves. Tell us about how you guys got connected to work on this project, and then you have the hour to shamelessly promote. I plug websites, plug appearances, plug books, URLs, Barnes and Nobles and Amazons and all that. Okay, so
sure.
Take it away.
First of all, thanks for your patience. I didn't realize I had to push that button to actually log in. So I'm sitting there going, "Oh, I'm like,
oh wait,
what's happening here?"
That's okay.
So,
we waited quietly.
Yeah, like, oh, where am I? I'm like, there's not. So,
happy to have you.
You were in the green room. Yes.
I didn't realize that you're actually shaggier too, Matt. So that's kind of a decent look for you, huh? Kind of more rustic looking. Is that?
Oh, it's just lazy.
Lazy becomes beautiful. Okay.
There you go.
And my
lazy.
Yeah.
delayed gratification to you guys too. Just thanks, you guys. Congratulations on getting your book out there, because I just thought the Kickstarter is awesome. So that's
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun little read. I actually read the first issue you sent me. It's really really cool. So looking forward to issue 2.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Other
it.
than that, did you want to start
Issue 2's
with
pretty
some
good.
stuff, Matt? Or
No, I'll let you take it. You lead the way.
okay, well, as you mentioned, this is Sons of Ashgard. It's the graphic novel coming out. I think it's kind of a weird split release date. It's in the country. It was printed overseas. It's in the country, but what happened was, for some reason, there's been a shipping delay with Penguin. So you have it coming out in comic shops on the 10th, which is just like a couple weeks from now, and then on the 6th of June for bookstores.
Dang.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a weird mix, but it's still out there. We're still going to do signings. The benefit is Matt and I will both be doing signings. You can go to the website, chadcorrie.com or sonsofashgard.com, and you can find out more information about where we're going to be. But none of those will be affected with us showing up. So that's a good thing. The books will still be there. It's kind of an exclusive thing. In fact, if I can, we'll be handing out free prints for people that get signed copies, so to speak. So it's actually the cover of the book, if that's of interest to people. But I guess your question was, how do we meet? How did this get started? That's a good question. I was thinking about that today. How old are we now? It's been like what, 20 years now or so? Matt?
You know, I don't know. So they have the local shows here in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. The organization was called the MCBA, and they'd put on 2 shows a year, SpringCon and FallCon. And it seemed like we were always running into each other just at those and just, checking up with it. You'd be there with your dad selling books, and my wife and I'd be trying to sell comics and art and stuff. And I'm not exactly sure when we actually met, though.
I think it was the late 90s. We have a mutual friend through his wife. I knew his wife for a while, and initially 1990s or so. And basically what happened was you came into the scene at some point, became the couple there.
Well, I didn't start seeing her till like 2002, so it's probably a little later than the 90s.
Okay. But we kind of connected. She was an artist. She still is an artist. And he came on the scene, like I said. We started drawing different things. He had this story about a killer baby chicken that go around and kill people. That was kind of entertaining on some different levels. And so the style was very interesting in the sense that maybe I was going to try and find it here for you.
I know, I'm looking.
Well, kind of set you up that way. But basically what happened was I kind of liked his style. I thought he had a decent approach to what he was doing. He's kind of more a cartoony style. There you go. Yeah, Peep. Evil bloodthirsty chicken there. But basically, yeah.
This is old. This is 2005.
But he found ways to kill people in a very creative way. It's a tiny little chicken thing. But anyway, basically, I kind of kept it in the back of my head, and I thought, this would be kind of fun to actually maybe see if we could do something that could kind of connect and be a kind of a fun project at some point in time. Nothing really connected initially, I think for several years, until I finally got this idea for Viking squirrels. And I knew that the style I was looking for was very appropriate to what Matt wanted to do. Or where I guess I could say what he fit well with doing, and kind of fit up his wheelhouse. He likes Masters of the Universe. He likes kind of that old 80s kind of classic retro stuff. And and that's kind of what he got into with that. And so we kind of talked about it a little bit, got an initial conversation going, and then from there worked with Dark Horse to get things going. Yeah, I think you scroll down. There's maybe some sample pages, maybe not. But otherwise, from that process, it was a very long. When was that started, Matt? Like what, 2018? We initially talked about it, or
2016 is when you approached me with the idea, and then I can't remember if we started doing like sample pages right away or if that was 2017. Yeah, those are the initial sample pages.
Yeah. And so that's the first few pages, and then actually that's the layout for the book. So that's looking pretty good. But yeah, basically after that, we approached Dark Horse. They said, yeah, let's have you on board. And then the whole pandemic took place and everything else kind of slowed down. And then that's when they got bought out the first time by a Chinese company before they got bought out by the Vikings now, whoever bought them out now. And so from there, they always had to put us on hold and say, well, we got some things in the works, but we still want it with, just wait a little bit. And say, okay, sure. And that waiting became a couple of years and then a few more years. Then the pandemic hit. And then finally we got things wrapped up. And then they said, well, you got to wait another year to re-release it now because how everything's set up with Diamond and that kind of stuff. So finally got out there. And then, of course, what happens, they do the split release where it's like another delay as far as it getting out there into the marketplace. But at least we have the opportunity to put it out there and begin signing and talking about it. Yeah, as you can see the pictures here. It's about a group of Viking squirrels. It's
so cool.
Yeah,
likewise. I read what you sent me and shared with me. It's fun. It's a great. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it is. I'm glad you like it. I mean, that's the whole idea with Matt's kind of cartoony animation-like flavor, and with the wonderful color that they did from Hi-Fi color design. They did a more kind of I guess called cell shading type of look to it, make it look more like an animation type of thing. We kind of went with this idea to make it more, it looks like kid friendly, but then you start realizing, well, wait, people are like getting wounded in graphic ways.
Wounded is
and blood is kind of over here. It's like maybe might be a totally kid friendly thing, but it's very fun and very enjoyable.
PG.
Yeah, PG-13.
PG. Parents need to be around.
Yeah, and it was funny because I forgot about that. I gave it to my folks recently to read, and got to that scene where there's shall we say, some excessive display of violence. And they're like, whoa. And I'm like, well, and then it realized at the time, I'm like, kind of hits you all at once with the color and stuff. It's very visual. And it's like, whoa, I guess it is kind of one of an action oriented. But any thoughts or comments you want to share, Matt, or kind of?
Oh yeah, no, you're going through the pictures. There is a couple of Easter eggs in this book. There's a couple of representative self-inserts. So when the book comes out, you should see if you can find which characters represent the two of us. It's none of the ones on the screen.
Okay. I love Eric Redford. It's such a good name.
So, yeah, and Matt, I love your style. And you're right. It's a little cartoony, but it's not. It fits. It can be. Yeah. It's not goofy. It's not childish.
It's just enough.
It's good. I
kind of like trying to channel my Disney afternoon, gummy bears, and DuckTales,
Oh yeah.
They're anthropomorphic. They're not quite like Redwall, where those are like upright animals. But they're not full on people. So I love the blend. I love it.
Thank you.
And the color just makes it pop too. I think it's just because it's hard to tell them apart sometimes with squirrels. You got to have that little color. I like how he did Henrik too. It actually turned out the little smirk he has. With
I was gonna say good color schemes for everything. Good palettes.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite, Matt? I never asked you that.
My favorite?
Yeah.
Well, we're like Henrik because he's essentially the Wolverine of the group, but each of them has their own. Like I really enjoy drawing Bruna because she's set apart from everybody. They all have kind of like a standard head, because they're all squirrels. They, not to sound speciesist, but they all, they all look alike. But Bruna was able to, tap into a little bit of femininity and get her to not look like the boys. That was kind of nice.
See, we've got I don't know, up around Niagara Falls, they've got black squirrels. Does anybody have those around?
Yeah, Kent, Ohio has.
Okay,
we got one in the neighborhood. Yeah,
and they must not have them in Japan because the tourists, and people have to be warned. They'll bite you. And my older brother has a story too. He got attacked by a black squirrel out in Niagara Falls, and so he's been traumatized. So I don't know, maybe I'll share this story with him, and he'll have flashbacks.
Did he have an axe or a sword on him?
That'd be a great addition. So going back, Vic saying you guys have known each other longer than he's been around. Yeah, Vic is a young buck.
He's a tadpole.
He's a greenhorn.
Diamond's being difficult. Diamond's not quite, but Diamond's they're going through pains just like everybody. And then teen friendly. He is intrigued being a young buck.
Okay.
And then
I used to read the Mirage Ninja Turtles and Punisher books. This is light compared to
okay,
It's very light, yeah.
I was a teenager when I was reading those.
Black Squirrels, and Indiana Towns. Yeah, they seem to be. I don't know why they're not as widespread. It's interesting. Okay, sorry. That was a tangent there.
We do that often.
Yeah.
That never happens.
We will have squirrel moments.
That was one of our fun things actually to put that cameo in there too. That's kind of fun from the beginning. I thought I'm going to do that now for future projects, just trying to find who the creators are in the project, kind of draw you as a different character kind of thing.
That is good.
Yeah, so this is kind of fun. You probably wouldn't expect who we are, so maybe that's kind of a bonus point. Figure out where we are in the storyline. We don't get actually one of us does get killed, don't we? Yeah.
I love that. Scott and I do.
You don't see I guess you do, but you don't know. They could come back.
You could come back. Yeah, it
is comics.
Like power. Yeah.
Right. The right kind of thing. Scott and I would joke about that, drawing our friends in and killing them in horrible ways.
Yeah.
Well, back when I used to do self-published like mini comics and stuff, I'd have people, you always get that as an artist. You should draw me in your comic.
Yeah.
And I'd always get people doing that. I'm like, careful what you wish for.
Right.
I'd have them get blown away or humiliated in some fashion.
And he did. Yeah, he actually did.
Our financial advisor has begged me to put him into a comic, so he's going to be in the next arc of Divinity. Yeah,
He's a bad guy.
He's the bad guy. Yeah.
Oh yes.
He's the bad guy.
Any lawyer friends will also be bad guys.
Yeah.
The default, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm going through Matt's Facebook page here.
Oh.
And some extra art on his side here. You guys are awesome at promoting. You got great stuff. So did you guys and Chad, Matt, do you guys handle that yourselves, or have you transcended to a spot where you have someone doing that for you?
For me, it's just basically just myself right now. I try and let Dark Horse know what's going on.
Yeah.
They're kind enough usually to kind of promote stuff. Like hopefully they're promoting this event, letting people know about it. But basically, it's just been a kind of combination of working with the team and kind of saying, hey, can we share some stuff? Can we put some stuff out there and things like that? So it's kind of walking the fine line too, because you don't want to make it too obnoxious. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And then you also don't want to do it kind of at weird times where people will kind of lose it in the feed. So I'm trying to walk that line. It's more challenging now because things getting delayed by weeks or months and things like that. But basically, it's kind of what I've been doing. I don't know what Matt's been doing. A similar routine, or is that kind of?
Well, you did all the little banners for Facebook and Instagram. So I've been more or less following that template and just basically following your lead. Because this is new to me too, but I try and throw my own little spin on it, my own wording and stuff. But the little banner art's really great. I'm like, yeah, this saves a lot of time.
Yeah, self-promotion is its own, it's a full-time job. And you're right, Chad, you can only tease so long, okay, here it comes. It's coming.
Yep.
Believe me, it's coming. Everybody's excited. And then 6 months later, how long are we going to wait for? How long are you going to tease us?
That's the thing. During the pandemic, it sucked for everybody. But the one good blessing I could find out of it is that I have a day job on top of being an artist. I don't do this full time. So it's crammed into my after work hours and weekends. And suddenly I had a lot of time on my hands. And so I really hunkered down, and Ashgard became my full-time job. And I would do little pictures here and there of panels I was working on. So like you said, people are like, when is this coming out? You keep doing this,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, this is my life now,
Yeah. Well, that was bad too. We were at that convention, I think it was a few years back, and I think we're telling people we're so sure it's going to come out through Dark Horse. It's coming out. We kept telling them, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? Well, this year, and the next year, it's not out. It's next year.
You see them again. You just keep walking.
The table's still empty, and there's nothing really there to promote. And you're like, we're having honest. We will.
I've got all these business cards from last year.
Yeah.
You want another one
with the wrong date? Yeah. So, that was a fun challenge.
We got some guests here. The First World Comic. Hey. And Jeremy. This is a name I've not seen before. Hi, Jeremy.
I know
great
Jeremy.
work, you guys.
Hi, Jeremy.
You guys know Jeremy?
He's another local artist here in
Awesome.
Minnesota. He's
Awesome.
pretty good
Thanks for
too,
joining
so.
the show, Jeremy. Yeah, Vic saying, yeah, our numbers are good tonight. You guys are bringing in good numbers.
Yay!
You guys are popular. Yeah, they class up the joint. So
Doesn't take much.
Yeah, no, not at all. No.
Well, yeah, that was a fun thing, that working the convention thing. I think that's kind of how we got connected too with the idea of the squirrels. I think, Matt, was our experiences with the convention, kind of saying what we want to work with, what we don't want to do, how it's supposed to look, kind of stuff. I think we talked a little bit about the look initially, right? Kind of the
I think you had initially pitched it as kind of similar to Mouse Guard.
Yeah,
and
I love Mouse Guard.
Right off the bat, that's not my art style. That's I do very much different work, and you were like, I know, I'm not asking for that. So we kind of batted around, because I'd done some work for a local publisher called Learner Publishing here in Minneapolis, and so I did these series of, I got one here, Twisted Journeys books. It's an educational publisher, so they don't really do comics that often, but this was like kind of their thing. It's a choose your own adventure meets graphic novel series, and I did a bunch of these, so that's basically my style right there. And so when we approached Ashgard, and I'm like, here's what I got. This is
it's what I do.
What you see is what you
got
get.
better though. It actually got better though, I think, because you found that niche that worked for you, I think, and the storytelling. And I think you even said they became kind of an integral, I don't want to say part of your life. That's kind of spooky, but they became kind of a knowable quantity for you. You actually found yourself enjoying them and kind of improving upon them as you went.
In fact, there was, going back to some of those older pages, because we started it in 2016. I look back at those and I'm like, Chad, these are way different than what I'm doing now. I mean, is there any way we can tweak them and patch them and make them, because it's, you want it to be consistent, and back then it was in its infancy, and I'd been drawing them, especially during the pandemic, 9 months where I wasn't really working on anything, but I got very acquainted with how I drew these squirrels, so he was kind enough to let me tweak those original drawings.
But we learned it was a fun process. I mean, I think it was fun to see you evolve and kind of develop that style, because I think that style now is so iconic in a lot of ways, and it just, I think, in some ways inspired the hi-fi, the coloring, to make their elements and their additives to it, because basically you have the nice foundation there with the bones and stuff of it. I don't know if you have any copies. Didn't tell you to have any like samples you can show of the inks or something, or one's there.
Yeah, Chad, why don't you tell us about your whole team?
Sure. Yeah. Basically, well, Matt, he's the they call him the line artist now. That's the fancy term for all the the work he does with the artist stuff. He draws the lines, I guess.
Draws lines, yeah. And with curves, some curved lines. And
Yeah.
And then we have Hi-Fi Design. They are Brian and Christy. Oh, there's some artwork there. Brian and Christy Miller from Hi-Fi Color Design. They're in Arizona. They color a lot of stuff for DC, Marvel, top name people like that. Known them for a while. That's one of my favorite ones.
Oh wow!
Running from their antagonist there.
It looks like a D&D party.
Basically.
That's
Exactly. And then the last person is Taylor Esposito. He is the letterer. He does a lot of comics as well. So
yes, he does.
Very prolific in that sense. Plus,
so
I think
good.
he's now an instructor at Kubrick, Joe Kubrick.
Oh, wow.
School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. Excellent.
Yeah, over in New Jersey. So he's pretty busy that way too. And he just had a kid. So congratulations if you're watching.
Yes. Got a lot going on. Wow.
Yeah.
So if you can, give us a little bit, whatever you can tell us about the plot of the story, and where it's going and what you would like to see what would you like to see happen with the story? Whatever you can tell us without spoiling too much.
Well, because you guys are Silverline, I can share some secrets no one else is going to know.
All right.
But basically, no, the idea is to make a 9-part series out of it. So be careful, Matt. You might be in this for like 60, 70 years old. So I have a longer beard like Rory down there.
Catch up.
But basically, the idea is like nine stories, I think. And
Becky.
Where's Becky? Oh, hi, Becky. Oh, they look amazing. Oh, okay,
it looks amazing. Thanks, Becky.
I thought they said we look amazing. I said thank you.
The book, guys. All right.
But no, that's cool. No, the idea is 9 overall stories. Basically, the whole, because 9 is big in Viking mythology and stuff, and plus there's 9 little ways to tell that with the story. Right now, I have about 4 written up, working on the 5th one, and I think Matt and I don't tell anyone, we're kind of working secretly on book 2, right? So getting that figured out.
Say a word. Won't tell us that.
Not a word. Just we're watching online later.
Nope.
For infinity. But basically, no. It's the idea behind it was initially. I think we talked about this, Matt and I did. We wanted to do an individual miniseries because we liked the idea of the ongoing serial story form, and it allowed us a continual way to advertise the book. As you know, graphic novels are kind of a one and done type of thing. You put it out there, and then there's like, okay, it's done. There's no more advertising. It's in the bookstore. There's not a lot of hype for it. But when you have a comic book, like for Dark Horse or something, every month they're promoting it, they're showing it, they're getting it out there, you're continually hyping it, and then you have the graphic novel after that, kind of the 1-2 punch at the end of it. That was kind of the initial idea. For some reason, they didn't want to do it. They didn't think it would be a good fit at the time, and so they said you got to do this big chunk of a graphic novel. And I'm thinking, okay. And then that's when Matt's like, I got to draw all this before it comes out. I'm like, yeah, sorry, that's kind of what they want. So that's kind of how we ended up having that extended time period, basically. But the storyline itself is pretty fun. It was based a little bit on, if you're familiar with the 13th Warrior from, the movie actually with Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, so that's kind of the subtlety. I pulled some of that out of that. You'll probably catch parts of that with some of the shorter elements in the story, if you will know. What I'm talking about, not the squirrels, but their antagonists. The
shorter,
yeah, the shorter antagonists. Yes, those guys. That's kind of where some of that inspiration came from, and then I also pulled from some of the ideas of the introduction, the origin story kind of thing. You had to introduce this cast and crew of people. What was the more interesting way to do that? I was telling the story through Eric's eyes, basically. So the first book is Eric's book. Eric's story, and he is kicked out of his homeland of Oakgard because we won't get into all the specifics, but some things happened that he shouldn't have done, and he's now kicked out and has to find a new home, and he's trying to find a way to make his life again in Elmgard, or actually Old Shore, which is a town of Elmgard. They all have little guard names, like Ashgard, Oakgard, Elmgard, Birchgard. You'll find out later on we'll make a map eventually. But basically, he tries to find a life in a homeland of his own with some peace and prosperity, so to speak, and it doesn't really work out that well for him. And he finds himself involved in another challenging situation that he wants to get out of alive necessarily, but also try and salvage what hope of a future he has in general. By the way, you can scroll down. There's some wallpapers there if you want to download.
Yeah, you got a great website. I want to promote that. You got the whole thing, and I wish we had more hours to talk. Maybe we'll have you back on because you're.
Well, go to sonsofashgard.com and you can find out more.
That picture right there, the dark red one with the freaked out look, is still one of my favorite.
I love that.
Yeah, he did a great job. I mean, his challenge was before he went crazy with doing the illustrations was he was saying, "Chad, can I draw different expressions? We put something on them because they're all the same." I'm like, I know. But he did. If you look really carefully, that's one thing I really liked about his artwork too. Was when he got into the chipmunks and stuff and other people, everyone's different. Yeah. And I said, you don't have to do that. You don't have to make him that crazy. He's like, I want to do it. I'm like, okay. So
it's a lot of work.
It was crazy, but it really sold it well. And I think, like I said, it helped with the coloring because it just made everything just that much more alive and believable, I guess. So, but yeah, getting back to the story, he tries to find that's him getting kicked out of Oakgard there. He's trying to get, he's getting his punishment, so to speak, and he tries to find a way to get free, like I said, and find a new life, but he doesn't really make it. And that's the story, and that's how he meets these people, and that's how they have to kind of go off and have new adventures exploring the world of Midheim, as we call it, and kind kind of go from there. So that's kind of but it's a completely standalone story, which means that you can enjoy it in its entirety. There's nothing really that you have to like left on a cliffhanger, which is great because the idea is
still leaves you wanting more.
Yeah. That was a great ending page too. You did, by the way. I like how that ended with the characters and stuff, kind of the nice little sunset kind of thing going on, the sunrise, whatever it was. And but yeah, it sets you up, and that's the idea, because I want people to be able to read them independently and also kind of disjointedly, so you don't really have to know what came before.
We will say hello to Brent. He's joining us. Hello, Brent.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Brent, we're at the bottom of the hour here, and I want to remind all of our viewers out there who is with us. Let me stop my screen there so we can get back. We can all see each other's beautiful faces. We've got Chad, Corrie, and Matt Wendt, creators of lots of stuff, but we've got the currently Sons of Ashgard, Ilmet and Elmgard, a story of squirrels in a Norse world with great art, with a little comedic side, but also blood and guts, and a little on the PG side, with Norse action and fighting and adventure, and hopefully it's going to be a 9-part series, and it looks awesome. I would love for it to keep going beyond that. We got some questions here. Becky, we got that one. Going back, Vic says, line artist is a fancy way of saying we're not paying you to pencil and ink, but you're doing both, right? I don't know. Is that just a way to cleverly not call you a penciler? This is a new name for me. I want to tell a story about a Dutch pirate who figures out how to time travel. He uses his power to get really rich as he travels back and forth along the timeline. Pirates named Elon Musk. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And then asking, is this kind of a Red Wall or Watership Down, but in a Nordic setting?
You can answer that, Matt, because you kind of know Watership Down more than I do. Or is he talking? Can you hear us, Matt? Oh, he's tapping his computer there.
Yeah. He looks perplexed.
Okay. Well, until he gets back
on. He says he lost audio. I don't know what to tell you, Matt. You can't hear us at all, or we can't hear him. Maybe if you jump out and jump back in, I'll let you back in.
Yeah. When in doubt, reboot.
Off and back.
I'm turning it off again.
I'll let him know that he can't hear us
don't
either.
cut the red wire.
Is it the blue wire with the white stripes, or the white wire with the blue stripes?
He'll come back, and then yes, Vic, Matt
is going. The question was, what was the?
Yeah, is it like Red Wall and Watership Down? Lost Chad as well. Huh.
Oh no!
There must be, a disruption in communication can mean only one thing:
conspiracy,
invasion.
War. Yes, war.
There we go. I'm back.
All right, we lost Chad as well. He was so mad at something Rory
said. He was like, "Oh, Matt jumped out." I was like, "I'm done."
Yes, Vic says, Matt, you are going above and beyond on it.
Oh, thank you, Vic.
And Tommy is saying hello. How do you do, everyone? Hi, Tommy. Tommy is a drive-by
Florimonte flyby
with Tommy.
Yep.
Folks, we can continue. Keep promoting. I want to promote chadcorrie.com. It was in our conversation again. I'll repost it. And Matt, what websites or where should people come and check you out right now?
You had my Scribble Theory Facebook page. That's generally just my art page. And then I've got a Scribble Theory Instagram. That's a little bit of everything. I showcase, stuff I collect, things I'm into. But right now, those are the only two that I really have.
And if they search Scribble Theory, they'll find you, and they can.
Yep. Scribble with a K.
Yes.
K.
Oh yeah. Scribble with a K. Go. Of course, follow, share, and so these guys can get love from you, and you can see what they have going on, which is really cool because right now they have a lot going on. The Sons of Ashgard launch is totally awesome. So go check that out.
We have a tour if you're curious about that too.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yes, I want you to tell us what's going on with your tour. Tell us where people can see you, how they can follow you, and then we'll talk about what's on the horizon for the two of you.
Sure. Well, okay. Basically, the tour is going to be in Minnesota for the most part because we are in Minnesota, and it's kind of close to where Matt is too. Because Matt will be joining me. It will be kind of a fun 1-2 kind of punch combination there with the writer and the artist guy kind of helping out and saying, "Hey, we'll sign it. We'll take your pens and scribble all over it." And it's going to be primarily at some comic shops. Free Comic Book Day, which I think is this Saturday, right? Yeah. So it's a really big store. The Source, really big store.
Really big.
The Source
Comics and Games.
And that's in Roseville. Is that right, Matt?
Yep.
Okay. And that's going to be us with a bunch of other people. It's kind of like a little mini convention in back they do. And they have us there with about a few hundred people or so, whoever show up, and they get their comics and we sign. And that's the first one. Then we have
sadly ours won't be. We won't be able to give them away for free. So
no.
Yeah.
That's
I have to pay the money for that. Yeah, but you do get the free print, and you do get signatures, and you do get some fun swag that way too. I will be signing other books too. I guess I have copies of the Fantasy Pro stuff that I've done too, if that's of interest to you. We can maybe mention that later at the end. But otherwise, where else are we going? A lot of Barnes and Nobles,
Level Up Games, and
Level Up Games. Yeah. In fact, if you go to chadcorrie.com/events.html, you should get a whole list of everything where we're going to be at, plus information how to contact them if they change the date or some goofy things like that. But yeah, basically you're going to be in Barnes & Noble, Level Up Games, Source
Mom's
Times,
Comics, and Burnsville.
Hopefully, yeah, get double check that. That's going to hopefully.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Through.
We were still.
But that's the plan. That is the plan.
Yeah.
And we're also going to do, what's the last one I'm thinking of? Maybe that's just me. That's just me. Okay, forget it. Yeah. So just going along, like I said, there's several events we're going to. Supposedly the Mall of America store is the biggest graphic novel seller for Barnes and Noble in the whole state. So that could be cool. And going to do another one that's really big for a lot of foot traffic. So come on by, check us out. We don't bite. We're very very approachable, and the comic is very fun, and we just like to kind of meet people. I know for myself as an author, I just like to meet people and to interact and just see who these people are that actually buy this stuff, because I'm sure Matt can relate. It's like, who are these people that are putting their money down on this and actually wanting to check this out? So definitely check that out. And it's kind of fun to see who you are and have that interaction with you, and just kind of pick your brain a little bit and see why you like what you do. So at least that's my thing. So
no, and I will. Sometimes you get loyal fans, that come by every year, and I always feel bad if you don't have anything new to offer. When's the next project? I'm like, I'm still stuck at a day job longer than normal.
If you just give me lots of money,
problem solved.
I will keep creating. I will reiterate that, Chad. Yeah, folks, go say hello. From a like a nobody creator side, it's awesome to have someone come say hello.
Yeah,
someone who's read what we've made, but also from the reader or fan side, I have yet to meet a creator who tells me to take a hike, kid. Nobody does that. It's an awesome experience to go and get shake a hand, get an autograph, and see that real people are writing books or creating stories and have that conversation. It's fun. So chadcorrie.com/events, you'll see where they are. Go definitely say hello to them, get their autographs on their books, buy their books, buy 10 of their books at least, and support them.
Get to that second printing.
Yes.
That close.
Boy, the clock's ticking as usual. We always our time flies by. I want to give you guys the opportunity to think about here in the last little bit. I would have loved to talk about things like world building and plotting and creating stories and all that sort of stuff, the craft of writing. But I wanted to give you guys a chance to, and I mentioned to Matt, Chad, you were in the green room. Maybe you didn't hear me.
Didn't push that button right away.
I don't know if you heard me. So Matt, you've had maybe a little, I'm sure you've been thinking about it, is a time for some wisdom. What you've experienced, what worked for you, pitfalls to avoid in either the industry or from the creative side, and help folks out there that are wanting to do what you're doing, and how do you do it? And
ultimately, I got to defer to Commander Mark Kistler from the Secret City show that used to play on PBS in the 80s. He did Imagination Station. He had a thing at the end. It was a drawing program, and it was done like very lesson oriented. Each day he had a new lesson he'd teach you. It was done sort of like very budget space station that he was on, and every day he'd teach you a lesson. They'd do a few things, and then he'd apply it to a mural at the end. And at the end of each show, his thing was, for aspiring artists, draw, practice your drawing 20 or 30 minutes a day. That's all you could do. I mean, I used to teach art for 9 years at a local art school, and these kids, they always come in thinking, there's going to be some profound thing. It's like, no, just keep drawing, just dig in. I've learned more just self-teaching myself by doing it than any teachers ever taught me. I hate to be that guy, but I get little pointers here and there, but
experience is worth a lot.
More, just like, how does that guy draw an arm? I'm going to keep trying to draw. I want to draw an arm like that guy, and eventually suddenly you're drawing an arm like that guy. It's, I don't know.
That's exactly what we wanted.
Practice. Just keep at it.
And what I tell artists who or wannabe artists who come up to me at shows is that learn to draw from real life first before trying to draw comic books. Don't learn to draw from comic books.
I used to have the worst time with our students because we would have them do the pre-drawings, like layer your artwork out, draw a skeleton and build up from there. And they hated that because they were, kids 8 to 18, so they were varying ages, and they're all thinking they're the next big thing. And I'm like, you trust me, you will appreciate this. No one taught me this for many years, and I'm giving you learn to build, learn, get your anatomy right. Learn, like you said, from real life. Don't just come in there. I'm going to draw Pokemon for everything.
Right.
Big, skeletonless blob with eyes. It's like even the Japanese artists had an anatomy for that stupid thing.
Right.
Yeah. As a sidebar, Matt, do you have any relatives named Tim? Because Wendt isn't a common name.
I don't have any relatives. I know.
As in Norm from Cheers.
He looks
That's
a lot
George.
Is
like
it Tim?
some relatives.
What?
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay.
George Wendt.
George.
George
Tim.
Wendt,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Norm. Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
One of my in high school, one of our German foreign exchange students had a really cool sticker on her. I think it was a clarinet case, it might have been flute, and it was German. It was Üben, which means practice. And then I'm going to mispronounce. It's sonst nichts. It's practice, nothing else. I love that sticker. I wanted it. She probably would have been mad if I stole that sticker off her instrument. And so the writing.
Brian Bond says, he said this in a recent book. The definite doing the same thing over and over, hoping for a different result.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually the
It's
definition
insanity.
of practice.
Of
It's
what's
also
that?
the definition of practice.
Practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Practice doesn't make perfect; it makes better. Or as close to perfect as you can get. But yeah, thank you, Matt. I love it. And then the writing side, Chad, you've got a well-oiled machine. What it looks like you're writing your business. You're treating your persona, yourself, your writing, your craft, very well, like a business. And your website looks great. Your tour is awesome. It's impressive. And so kudos to you. What insight do you have?
Well, you set me up so well there. It's just But no, thank you. This had a lot of help as always. It's not. It's always behind the scenes things that kind of make it work. Insight. Basically, people have asked me a lot of writing questions over the years, and I always refer them to my page at my website, The Writer's Desk. It's chadcorrie.com/The Writer's Desk, and you'll find information about the common asked questions I get about how to find agents or writers, or how do you write, or whatever, contracts and stuff. But other than that, I guess the thing for me was I wanted to make sure the work was independent of myself. I didn't want to be a writer that is just the product, if that makes sense. Because a lot of writers, not putting anyone out there in particular, but a lot of writers want to become the thing. It's not really about the book or the thing they write. They are the celebrity. They are the look at me, comment on everything that doesn't have any relevance to what I do or whatever. It's like I didn't want to be that guy. So I wanted to kind of take a back seat to that. So the more I can be behind the scenes a lot of times, and maybe even kind of not even be known, but actually have the books known independent of me, that's actually kind of my goal. But unfortunately, you can't really do that in today's world. You have to have a name, you have to have a presence, you have to have a social media thing. So I guess if you're asking some words of wisdom or things, one of the things I actually tell people is when you're writing is to actually finish what you write. Kind of similar to what Matt said about practice. A lot of people want to write a book. They go, I got a great beginning, I got a great ending, but I have no middle. Well, then basically you have no story. So you have to figure out how to tell a story. And you don't really get to achieve that until you've finished writing a story. And once you've done that, as I'm sure you know, it gets easier because then you begin to find the beats. You begin to find your own rhythm, your own comfort in.
Yeah, you're speaking Scott's language right now.
Yeah, how you actually find your story, your levels, what type of plotting you want, things like that. You find what works well for you. And if that makes sense to the writers out there. But you have to finish it, because then once you finish it, then you can go back and you can say, okay, this is where I need to fix things. This is where I need to improve. This is where I can do better. This works well. You know, you learn to grow upon that. And for me, when I previously did a bunch of fantasy books, trilogy, I learned the hard way. You actually want to have more than just a plot. You want to have like a structure to the story, because when you're writing 3 books in a row and you're just kind of writing by the seat of your pants, it's like, oh, you're in book 3. I have to go back and change all of this part of book 1 because I didn't plan for this.
That's the stuff that keeps me up at night. I'm going to have a great idea in book 7, but I didn't zero setup. So that's,
that's why I write everything out now before I do it. So all these series now are done for the most part, because I realize I want this story done. And it's a lot easier to promote because then you know what's going to happen. You kind of build up on the marketing side of things and stuff like that. That's why when I approached Matt, I had kind of idea for book 2 already. So it was like, I kind of knew where the story was going for Ashgard. So it made it a little bit easier to pitch to people too. And you'd be surprised. Imagine this. Publishers actually are happy to know you have the book series finished when they sign you.
That's a novel concept. I'll get to it. Yeah.
Of course.
And so
they might die, they might not.
Wait for that Netflix money. Come on.
But I think that's gotten a lot of favor with Dark Horse in particular too. It's just that they say, oh, you got it done, and you can actually show them that it's done. You have the plot and stuff figured out, so they know that you're not just, you're serious and you want to take this to the next level and you want to see it through. So I think having that now, especially in today's marketplace as a writer, as you know, Scott and other people too, this is an entertainment industry, and it's very subjective, and it's a very throwaway, disposable type of entertainment. Now people don't really take it. It's like, okay, whatever, next, whatever. There's no real commitment to it as far as people wanting to deep delve into it or have a connection to it. It's just kind of like, what's my 15-minute fix of entertainment for today? What's my book? They can read it in like, a day or something, or a prose book or something. It's like, so if you have that mindset where people, especially new writers I talk to once in a while, they'll say, oh, it's my baby, it's my literary, gem. It's a piece of paper with some words on it, and somebody will be entertained with it. Yeah, some will be entertained with it, some of them won't. Some of them won't like it, some won't. Get over it. It's not you. It's not you. I've learned early on to just divorce yourself.
Cuts to the
That's what you learn. You learn that, because if you can divorce yourself from the project and say, this is just a product, it's not me. I wrote it. Yes, there's some elements maybe of me subconsciously in there, spookily enough, but just step away from it. Like I said, that's what I kind of said earlier. I want to be separate from the entity of the title of the project, whatever. I want to have fun. I want to create things.
Very smart.
If you can do that, then you're fine. Because a lot of people get so thin-skinned, or they want to push an agenda. Oh, this book is, you got to read it. And if they don't like it, it's like, just sometimes you gotta give it time. People might not be ready for it, or just let it breathe a little bit.
It's usually when you're dead that more people read it.
Yeah.
Don't say that, Rory.
But I'm sure
you're worth way
experience
more
that
dead.
too. Have you guys found that too with your work? It takes a little bit of time for people to kind of get into it, and
Yeah. We're really, I mean, we have over a decade of work that we put into it. It went on the back burner for years, and then now it's come to life. So yeah, it has been our baby. But yeah, we've had to and I'm neurotic about like details, and so a lot of times Rory's like, it doesn't matter that much. No one, and I'm gonna be like, there's gonna be that one guy who's gonna call me out on that one detail.
Okay. So Scott used to have a radio show when he was in Alaska, and he was a classical radio show playing Baroque, and one elderly gentleman would call in and say, that song at minute 26 is not Baroque. And
I had a whole Saturday that I thought it was Johann Sebastian Bach's birthday, and it was. And it wasn't by the old calendar. And I had people calling the radio show to tell me I was wrong. And I was all flustered. It's public radio. It's 6 a.m. on a Saturday. Give me a break.
wow.
But you're right. So give it time. We all, it's just our second comic that's come out. So, if the two of us, we've got 48 pages of work. It's, I want to see it grow.
Does that define us as professionals now?
That's it. You by your page count.
Made
yeah.
it.
That's right. Well, I mean, really, Rory, we've doubled. And we've doubled our work. All right.
200%.
There you go.
So, Chad, I didn't want to cut you short. But going back, Vic said, practice makes progress, kids. Yeah, perfection is the enemy of done. Yeah, you never stop learning. You never got it perfect. And then, no, Vic, we cannot translate writer speak. We've transcended to another level of existence.
Somewhere I have a poem I wrote in my first college experience.
And how was that?
And it was good. It was about writing versus drawing, and how writing is the superior.
Much better.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
way superior.
Yeah. Anyone can draw.
Okay,
I mean,
bye.
Rob's giving us the middle finger.
Rory in every
read
story.
between the lines. Yeah.
Rory dies in every one of Rob's books. You have a whole series. It's the death of Rory Boyle. So if I could draw, oh man, my life would be so
rich.
And then Vic's asking when's that steam cooker going to appear, and I think maybe anything that you cook is going to almost be a steam cooker. I'm not sure. Hey, we're down to the last 2 minutes, guys. This has been fantastic, Chad and Matt. This has been an awesome show. Again, we're wrapping up. Shamelessly promote where Matt, where people can find you digitally and physically, where they can shake your hand.
So obviously, if you go to was it Sons of Ashgard, and it's got the .com. It's got all the tour dates. Is that the right one, Chad?
Yeah, that's the right one. Yeah.
Okay.
Sons of Ashgard, and we will.
You can find me on Instagram under Scribble Theory. Also on Facebook, also under Scribble Theory. That's
Scribble with a K, right? Yep.
Scribble with a K. Yep.
Okay. You can find me on @CreatorChad. That's going to be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and I think even LinkedIn, maybe. That's Chad Corrie, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, and then you can also find me at chadcorrie.com. And if you want to know more about that, CHAD, like behind me, CORRIE.com. And then... What? Yeah, it's a Norwegian script, right? You can also find it if you want more prose stuff or more like fantasy stuff. You go to the Tralodren website. That's TRALODREN.com, and that's for the fantasy books series. Bunch of different things on there, just world building, history stuff. I'll be adding more, I think, pronunciation guides pretty soon, because someone actually came up and said, "How do you say this?" I said,
"No, that's
make it up. It's in your head."
Yeah. It's Ayafyala It's common spelling.
But other than that, you can also sign up on my newsletter, which is on the website, chadcorrie.com. And I think that I also do podcasts if you're curious about that. Oddly enough, I do a world building podcast called Culpin World, which is kind of on a break right now. There is Tralodren Legends and Lore, which is more the history and mythology of that world setting, and then Tralodren Behind the Scenes, which is basically all the good stuff going on with the world setting, and then Corrie Cast, which is just me blabbing for a little bit about what's going on. So
You guys have got an awesome thing going on right now. Congratulations on finally the book, making it out and seeing the light of day, going through the motions of publishing and all those things. Folks, if you are anywhere near these guys geographically, even if you're not, go see them on their tour.
Road trip.
Like, follow, share, subscribe, share all that they have going on, and let's make their book Sons of Ashgard awesome. Have it a great launch this month, and go support them online if you can't go see them. Chad, Matt, this has been great. We've been honored. It's been an honor to have you guys here and talk. We'd love to have you on again. Follow up next projects, whatever if you want to talk craft and so forth. You guys are a wealth of knowledge, and we've had a fantastic time. Folks out there, DJ, we got questions. I'm sorry. What inspired telling the story? Quick, if you got like 30 seconds, what inspired you?
Yeah, basically, I saw some squirrels at my parents' window, and there were like about 13 or 20 of them at the time. And I thought, there's a whole bunch of them. I thought we would actually tell a story with these squirrels as a people group. And I thought, what about Viking squirrels? Because I'm in Minnesota, so it kind of fit.
Absolutely.
With the motif.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I love it. I love it. You guys have a great team. It's you guys great storytelling, great art, and if everybody out there, we'll be putting links and so forth, hopefully in the chats, and Silverline's on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and we're out there too. So like, follow, share everything we have going on, and we'll try to broadcast news as we get it from Chad and Matt. So thank you, gentlemen. This has been a great hour. It flew by. So for Brent, Barb, Rob, Rory, Chad, and Matt, we like to end with saying, make mine Silverline. And I always have to click over here and I have to stall to go find our end, because it, where does it put it? It always moves it. Kickstarter end, stream end. Okay, gentlemen, make mine Silverline, Sons of Ashgard. Good night, everybody.
Hi, I'm Bill Black. I created FemForce. But you know what? Today, make mine Silverline.